Good morning, and here we are again using the Farmhouse Kitchen Cook Book that was originally on Yorkshire Television. And we are in this series of cooking, we are doing recipes from around Britain. Today is Kentish Huffkins. Don't know if you can see that very well. There you go, Kentish Huffkins. That's obviously south from where I am in the Midlands, and a place called Kent, and this is called Kentish Huffkins. It's actually bread, or a type of bread. And there's my ingredients. We have got ½ ounce of fresh yeast, or 1½ ounces of teaspoons of dried yeast. Well, I've got the dried yeast, and there's my spoon ready. 1½ teaspoons. 1 teaspoon of caster sugar. Sugar I've got, I haven't yet got out. ½ pint of warm milk and water. Got my milk. I shall heat it up slightly, 1/4 pint, and then add 1/4 pint of water to mix it evenly. Then I've got my strong white bread flour, ½ teaspoon of salt, and 1 ounce of lard. Sorry, not yard. And when I do these recipes, I read it as if you're opening the book for the first time. I've opened it at that page for the first time, got my things ready, and I should do the method bit by bit as we go along and discover it with you. Thank you. So I've warmed my milk, my 1/4 pint of milk, 1/4 pint of water, and I've warmed it up in the microwave. And it's 1½ teaspoons of dried yeast. So just sprinkle that in, and then half, and then you add your 1 teaspoon of sugar. It should be caster sugar. Right, and then mix to dissolve it a little bit. And then leave it to start working. Reading further down the method of the recipe, it says if using dried yeast, whisk. And that helps to start the yeast straight away, so it doesn't clog or together, and it starts working. Well, you keep it, once you've mixed it, you're keeping it in a warm place, and I'm not sure whether you can see, it is actually frothing, so that yeast is now active. It says keep it for 5 minutes, but mine's been about 10 because I had some toast for my breakfast. Well, I've measured out 1 pound of strong plain flour, or bread flour I should say, and there's my salt just going in, and then you mix that together. There you go. And then you rub in your lard. If your lard's room temperature, then it should be soft enough to rub in. Well, I've rubbed the lard in because there's only a little bit you can't actually see it. I've rubbed it all together with the salt and the flour, and then this is when you add your yeast. Just put it all together and just mix it until it becomes a pliable dough. Then you turn it onto your board. Just mix it with your fingertips, trying not to get too much on your hands, and eventually keep folding it, and eventually it all will come together. When you get it to a certain point, you can use the dough to wipe your bowl, and then when you've got it all together, you can actually tip whatever's left. There you go. And then you start kneading it. If you've got the right proportions and you followed the recipe, then it shouldn't be sticky on the board, so it should just start mixing straight away. Right, it's now a pliable dough. There you go. I'll leave that just for a minute and clean my hands off. There we go. I'll just read the next bit to see what we do. Knead well until dough is no longer sticky and is smooth and shiny. So we have to knead this for about 10 minutes. To knead bread, there's different methods. People do different things. I always fold it in like this and use my knuckles. Now it'll stop being sticky. So you've got my watch on, so I'll time it. So I'm roughly following the recipe and see when it starts becoming sticky. As you see, it's not sticking to the board. So I'm glad to say that. It's hopefully a good mixture. And I'm forcing all the ingredients, the sugar and the salt, the yeast and the flour all to mix together. Well, it's been about 5 minutes and it's getting there. I will do it for another 5 minutes. As you can see, I'm getting tired, so I'm now just picking it up, pushing it with the palm of my hands. As long as you keep kneading it, moving it, twisting it and turning it, and then it should be alright. Then I'm going down to one hand, just turning it, moving it, and the other, and I'm getting out of breath. But keep going, don't stop. So this is a good idea if you've got kids. Make them wash their hands really well, and then they can do their bit towards making their bread, and they can help you knead. Well, as you can see, that's my 10 minutes, and if you pull it when you know it's got to what we call the elastic stage, pull it and it wants to go back. So let's just do that again. Pull it and it wants to go back. That's when you know it's ready. So there you go. So the next stage is to turn it into a ball. There you go. And it should say lightly greased bowl and putting dough covered with a cloth or greased polythene. Keep in a warm place away from drafts so that dough will rise or prove until doubled in size. I'm going to use the same bowl. It's still flour, and so there's no need to flour it or grease it. Just pop it into the original bowl you were using before, and then just put, if I get a clean cloth, I've got a clean tea towel and I've just slightly dampened it underneath the tap, and that stops the dough from drying out. And then my oven is actually warm. I put it on 50 earlier on and it's warm. You're supposed to keep somewhere warm. Well, my oven is. It's not on. I did switch it off. It's just kept the heat only slightly. And I shall leave it in there until it's doubled in size. Well, it's been about 45 to 50 minutes and it's doubled in size. Then it says to turn out onto a floured board and divide the mixture equally into 10 pieces. What we do next is once you get your balls the way you want them, then do it into half an inch, roughly about half an inch, and then put a floured finger into the middle, and then put them on a baking tray, put them together and turn around, and just do that to about half an inch and put your finger in the middle. Mess with them again. That's it. Half an inch finger in the middle. Spread them well apart. That means I should get 5 on each one, with one in the middle. So I've got 2. Finger in each in the middle. And then just keep doing this. Turn around. There we go. And one in the middle. So basically do 2 tins the same as that. Once you've got them, so you've got 5 in each tin, you need to re-wet your tea towel, and I'm going to put them back in the oven because it's still warm from before. It's not on. You need to cover up with the tea towel, make sure it's wet so that the bread, when it rises and doubles in size, won't stick to the tea towel. As you can see, they've now doubled in size. The top of the tea towel actually caught the tops, but I'm absolutely fine with that. I peeled them off, even though that the tea towel was wet. Right, the next stage is to actually put them in the oven, and you put them in the oven at gas mark 8 or 450 Fahrenheit to 230 Celsius. And you do that near top of a very hot oven for 15 to 20 minutes. Well, there you go, they're all done. 15 minutes I took in my oven. There you go. They look good, smell good, and as soon as they're cool enough we'll try one. And it says to try them either cold or warm, so we'll do warm with real butter. Well, there we go, we're just about to try one. They've cooled down enough now, just slightly warm, and we've got real butter. Oh, look at that, doesn't that look gorgeous? Look at that. Tear that off. I did double in size because I started them at ½ an inch, and they ended up at about an inch, so they have doubled in size. Well, there you go. And there's the inside. So that looks absolutely gorgeous. Look. Wonderful. So that turned out brilliant. I will be making them again.